That's why you're blocked. Blocked.
That's why you're blocked. You're listening to That's Why You're Blocked podcast.
And welcome back. I'm Carson Bailey.
I'm Chanel Schatz.
And this is That's Why You're Blocked podcast. And we're getting ready to embark in our dating series.
Just in time for the 75-degree weather. So y'all ladies can figure out if you really talk to that nigga or not.
I mean, I do definitely feel like it's a shift. I was like, legs out. I'm out by myself. Mm-hmm. But, all right, well, let's get into it. How's your dating life been?
It's been okay. I think we alluded to it last week that we were trying dating apps again, been on them on and off. So yeah, it's been okay. It hasn't been terrible. You do get a few of those, what do we call them? No spark messages. Oh,
well, that was my first time getting, the nigga told me this wasn't it, which is cool. I wasn't feeling any kind of way.
I would rather someone like say that, than not, or just ghost. However, I would be honest, I don't think I've ever sent someone a "we're not compatible" message after we hung out, but I have sent someone, "Hey, I just think that we want different things," just up front. We don't even need to go out.
I be trying to tell people that, and they want to argue with me. They don't be listening. I'm like, bro, I don't know. I feel like I give it's not you, it's me. But, I'm still a work in progress. The Lord's still taking his time with me. All right, so let's get into our first segment. For our new listeners, hey, thanks. We appreciate it. For our old listeners, thank you for coming back. So let's get into the shit that comes to our phone. This actually happened last night. This is fresh off the presses. Bro, like 6.
All right, y'all.
However, we're recording this like 12 hours before.
That's funny.
It was off the late night.
Wow. Okay, y'all. So,
and I don't normally be up.
If you can recall, last week we talked about how we flexed our grandma going out muscles, and one of the links that we were supposed to make was with this guy. I think we called him King. And he was just like being extra. Like, either this man wanted a green card or he wanted to get married, or at least that's the way that he presented himself to me.
It's not either or. He wants to get married for the green card.
Whatever.
Shorty.
So I met him on excuse me. I met him on Bumble. His profile said, if you are not looking for a serious relationship, do not swipe. I wish I still had it. I deleted it, but I wish I still had it. So that's what he said, and that's how he presented himself to me. And when we first started talking, I literally said, hey, I think we want different things. I don't even want to waste your time. He said, no, we can work on whatever. That's the one who was asking me about motivation pictures. Asking me about like motivation pictures and such.
Thirst traps or nudes.
Basically.
How old was he?
30. Yikes. 29, 30.
Well, one thing or issue I have, men, stop trying to change our minds.
Please. If we cannot change you, understand it's the same thing.
Period. And
why would you want to, honestly, to trap someone into something like just for you? I
feel like as a society, we have this, like, if you have that ability, you feel like it's a superiority complex. Like, probably. I fixed him. I fixed her. I was able to change her. Like, before you met me, I think it's probably mostly vanity at the end of the day.
Well, I mean, if you was hanging out with someone and, you kind of upgraded them, you do get a little ego boost. But if someone is straight up telling you, hey, I really don't think we're going to work.
When somebody tells you something.
And listen. Usually people who have, the self-awareness to say that know themselves. Mm-hmm. Generally saying, hey, I'm not interested in what you're interested in. That's a serious grown-up move.
Period.
We should respect that.
Amen. Hallelujah.
So, yes. So, we ended up not hanging out. The last message he sent me was, please lose my number. And I was like, okay, great. Now I don't have to come up with something else not to hang out with you later. Because he was starting to get weird. He's one of those niggas who be asking for pictures, like, straight out the back. And it's like, bro, there's something on the profile. And I think Carson told me this before, and I was like, okay, I can kind of get that. Carson was like, for real, if I catfish the ones on the app, what makes you think I can't catfish the ones I send to you? Like, the only way you're going to know if someone's not a catfish is to actually show up. And yeah, it may be a waste of time.
Or I guess FaceTime, but like,
and that even too.
Then, I don't know.
I think now before I hang out with someone, I do like to have like a phone conversation with them, especially if I'm a little iffy with them. I mean, if they don't have an iPhone, it makes it kind of rough. But then I'm questioning your taste already.
Well, I feel like for me, I don't like to like unsolicited FaceTime calls because
you be answering them though. I do not be answering them.
I don't like. I feel like I answered some. Like there's a lot. This one person told me, "Why am I on a dating app if I wasn't serious? If I don't answer their calls, like I'm like, you calling me? Like I have a scarf on. Like I look crazy. I am lounged out.
I feel like if you don't bang with someone like that, you need to ask them if they are free to FaceTime. That's men and women.
Yes, they should make an appointment. Now, I will say, if I do FaceTime you randomly, it's because it's a time-sensitive information and I need verbal, like I need to be able to see you confirm yes or no.
We FaceTime each other like pretty often throughout the day, but like whether I'm wearing a bonnet or whether I look cute, like I know I will answer for Carson. But like dudes, y'all be wanting us to look a certain way. Like if you knew what we look like before we go
or they
back
say
to
that
bed,
they don't like, they don't care. And I'm like, it's
yes,
not,
you do.
Not even that I care. Okay. Let me have,
that too.
I don't give a fuck what you like, what you think. Because niggas will fuck a sandwich, but like I care. I am not trying to be out here, looking like Aunt Jemima or Harriet Tubman. Let me be.
I'm weak.
Because this is different. But yeah, last night somebody like called me off the like super late, and I guess I wasn't in REM sleep, and I heard it, and I was just like, bro, it's like, oh, just get dressed. That's fine. I'm like, no, there's too much I have to do.
3 a.m.
Bro, I gotta hop in the shower. I gotta do all this other stuff. Like, no, it's a done deal. It's a dub.
I don't understand.
Talking about I'll pull up. What we gonna do?
It's hella disrespectful for you to be calling me at 3 a.m.
Especially we didn't talk.
Bang like with each other. Like
it would be different if I said we will link later.
Right.
After you leave this thing and I'm supposed to be staying up. None of that happened.
No.
None.
Y'all really be just assuming that like the world and the earth moves for y'all.
The sun rises and sets on their ass. But like,
it doesn't. It really doesn't. But okay, so we say all this to say that was the experience that I had with this man. But I sent him Carson's profile because
we were supposed to go on a double date because we wanted podcast content. We were like, you know what? We need to have more together stories.
Basically.
All right. So I guess I'll pick up from here. So let me see what time this person messaged me. All right. So I am chilling in my bed asleep. And, it was in the afternoon. This person, that looked like they were like a wannabe artist. And I was like, okay, I don't know what about me gives off Diddy vibes that I like, you need my stamp of approval or you want to send me.
That's what I'm saying, nigga. Like, if you send me your song, I can't make it sound better. Send it to a producer.
I said that. I was like, yeah, it don't sound like it's finished. But basically, he asked how I was. And then I think I responded like several hours later. And then he was saying, oh, we should go out. And I'm like, well, you know what? Let's get more dating content out. This is my last weekend. We booked a trip for Memorial Day. So, like, this is my last weekend eating bread and drinking. So I was like, all right, if he can get it happen, if you make it happen soon, I'll go out, Mm-hmm. But he's out in the Baltimore area and I'm in PG. And as I don't know if we said, but I'm not a fan of driving. Damn.
Sorry, girl.
Yeah, it was incredibly rude. And so he was trying to meet at some bar. And I'm like, yeah, that's not gonna work. And he offered for me to spend the night, but you gonna have a good time. And then he said guaranteed, but he spelled it wrong. And I'm like, yo, I'm not even available. And he's like, well, you could leave if you need to. Like, you don't have to spend the night. I'm like, bro, nah.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Some other time. But that is no. But like nicely, because niggas are crazy.
Yeah.
And so then he was like, oh, let me know. And then I just double tapped the message to indicate that I was over this conversation. And then he was like, how do you spend your week? And I was like, working. And, I'm about to get back into working out. And he's like, well, what are you working out? And I was like, myself? I don't.
Yeah, he did ask me that.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. And so.
Like, what section of my body I was trying
which part of your body? This man asked everybody the same questions. LOL.
Okay, but the thing
and then he told me not to lose my butt, which is crazy because I don't really have a butt.
The thing that makes this extremely grimy is, like I said, the only reason why he has Carson's profile is because I sent it because I was like a friend for the friend. Like, that was the only condition because I really didn't want to hang out with him. So I was like, well, you can tag along. We can get some podcast content.
And then I said, I don't really have a butt. And he's like, I really wish I could see you tonight. Just like dinner or something. And I'm like, my nigga, It's 11. What dinner place are we having at 11?
What else did he mention to you that he never told me about?
So then he first asked, he called me Sunshine, which if you don't know me personally, I'm just not a big fan of pet names. My mother named me my name for a reason. Please use it. Not up for discussion. I don't know. It's just something about it makes it feel sleazy.
I don't know. Something about you using them very, very early just
also
is
it's
weird.
like very weird to me too. Like,
yeah.
But then he wanted my opinion on the song that he was working on.
This man never told me he did music, y'all, like at all. He
His
told me
Instagram. Did you follow him on
he
Instagram?
did something. No, I don't think so.
And that's probably why, because it's on his thing, like up and coming artist or whatever.
He told me that he was in the tech industry and he absolutely loved it. Like absolutely no ambitions for anything else.
Does my Instagram give like I want to talk to a music person? I mean, I support your dreams and your crafts, but like, don't send me nothing that ain't rocket.
Well, I'm hoping so. The dating series is going to end off with a few different guys. Hopefully, we'll get some male listeners. Or
we got somebody coming in. I think at least in the works.
Yeah,
we might collab with another podcast.
Personality. I really want to know like what certain things on dating apps give off to men, because I had an interesting conversation with someone, and I like Carson listen to it.
Talking to the mic.
I let Carson listen to it, and just scratch that. We'll get into it. I didn't know how to proceed with that story. That's more of a story.
Okay, well, basically, he sent me the music, and I was like, I asked, I'm like, is this mixed
Finished?
and mastered? I don't even know what mixed and mastered is, but it didn't sound like it was any of that. And then, of course, I try to be nice. I'm like, there's a vibe. I used a neutral word. It's a vibe. That vibe
is. Who knows? Is it a dead
And then
vibe?
he was like, "This is my first single," and then I just kind of stopped messaging him.
Just shook. This man does
because then he messaged me like 4 times. Oh, I'm just looking at this. He just asked me to be in the video. Ooh, chile. I'm about to say I'm camera shy. I'm camera shy, and I don't think I'm gonna talk to him again.
I am so weak. Not you.
Not me being a video vixen.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. But he definitely was a triple double texter, and we'll get into that.
Girl, he's messaging me back just now. I just literally just typed that shit.
A triple double texter, like if you don't respond, like
I don't like that.
A caller if you don't respond within like 2 hours.
That to me gives off like that makes me uncomfortable. That means like
that's
probably
really
gonna pop
creepy.
up or like stalk me. Yeah, that's kind of scary.
Really creepy. And what's crazy is like when women do that, it's perceived as crazy. When men do that, it's like, oh, well, I'm interested. So, if I'm interested, I'm
interested.
Do that.
Nick, sometimes I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of that. I think that we gonna get there when we get there.
Right. And honestly, she not interested.
I'm really not.
If a woman, if it takes all of that, and she's still kind of leaving you on red, or she's still like
one-worded answers.
Yeah, she's not interested. Just take the hint.
I mean, I'm working on not being a bitch, guys. So. But all right, so let's get into dating apps specifically.
We spent a minute on that.
I mean, that's what they're here for. They want to hear our opinions.
All right, dating is
shout
hard.
out to that artist.
Yeah.
I might be in a music video, y'all.
Girl,
stream it.
I'm gonna show up for moral support.
Oh, that'll be tea. Oh, that'll be so good. Be like, hey. I was like, oh no, she's gonna be my substitute. She's my, what do they call it? No, stunt double.
Oh.
All right, so let's get into dissecting these dating apps. So we're going to go in on all of this on your favorite apps and talk about our thoughts, opinions, experiences, what we feel like are do's and don'ts. So get yourself a nice little drink and open up your phone and scroll. All right, so when did you first find out about dating apps or get onto dating apps? Because it's still a relatively new phenomenon.
It is. So my first dating app was spring 2016. So was that 5 years ago? 5 years ago. So the nigga I was fucking with at the time, a part of the Catch Me Outside video, that man, he was on the apps like all the time. At least I know he was specifically on POF, which was the first one. And I looked through his phone once and I saw that that's what he was using and that's what he was on. So after that situation with Catch Me Outside, where he had this girl coming up to try to fight me, I was like, you know what? I'm not playing these games anymore. I literally made a POF profile like in his bed the next day. And I was like, let's see what's up. Because you really don't want to play. I'm a monogamous ass person, but like, don't try me. You really don't want to play this game with me.
Go toe to toe pedicure. For me, I think I started maybe like second semester freshman year. And I think I was on Tinder. Maybe. Because that was an app that kind of everybody was using. Right, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was Tinder. And I think it's because the people around me in my dorm are using it. And I was like, all right, fuck it, I guess.
That's interesting because people that were in my dorm, honestly, it was kind of weird. Like, they were like, why are you on dating apps? Like,
were all of them in relationships?
Half and half. Like, by the time I was on the dating apps, like, half and half.
Well, I mean, but you also started, I guess. It's just, this is different.
That's true. But I also couldn't see them being, like...
And different people.
Yeah.
I mean, were you in a co-ed dorm?
Yeah.
I don't know. People were on that. But I also think our schools just had different cultures. Yeah. So yeah, I was on Tinder, and I think it was, I don't know when Tinder started, but it was definitely becoming a hookup app. I'm trying to think. I haven't been on Tinder in such a long time, but the swiping and stuff. I do remember. People, there was another app. Do you remember Yik Yak?
Yes. But Yik Yak wasn't for dating, was it?
No,
on my campus, Yik Yak was not talking shit.
Yeah, I was getting to that. No, there was another app, I think, that people on campus were on. I think about it, but I do remember my good friend had made a profile, and she, right before this is second semester freshman year, so over the summer she had like cut her hair to go like natural and grow it out. And they were talking about her.
Yeah, Yik Yak was like the shit talking app.
No, it wasn't Yik Yak. There was another app. I can't remember.
They took it off of our Wi-Fi at school because too many people. There was a good solid weeks where nobody went to the Union, which is like the hangout spot, and nobody went because either you was dressed to the nines, either you had to look really good, or you just did not go. Someone was going to talk shit about you.
Oh man, they talked about a lot of stuff. But okay, so Tinder,
Exposing
swiping and the whole hookup culture. I mean, for me, as we mentioned, I've kind of only dated or interacted with black guys. And for the most part, that's just kind of what I like when I grew up around. But like, it wasn't like white guys were really beating down my door.
White guys like dark-skinned women or like really light women.
But we are putting ourselves to the test, and we're going out on this dating series. We're bringing you the content. We're doing this field study, honey. Yeah, so look out for our white chocolate episode.
That should be the name. That's definitely going to be the name. Okay, so all right. Well, how do you feel about hookup culture? So we discussed like dating is hard. Dating.
We are literally in a dating famine. Shout out to Shan Boudran. I don't know if you guys are into the studies of relationships and like sexology, but she's a good person to follow. That I read her book about like dating with dominance. Let me not say I didn't finish it because I realized I'm still not at a point of dating, but I'm a little more open and reflective now. But she definitely laid it out, and I definitely think that's somebody you should check out. She's a YouTube. She's a, like I said, relationship, or what does she call herself? An intimacy expert.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, I definitely recommend people learning.
Well, I love listening like and learning about stuff like that, like from different people.
Yeah, so she's definitely, I would say, the one that I like and, listen to. So,
what do you think is contributing to the famine?
I think with we're not we're social, but not as social. We're extremely interactive, but not really. Like, I think dating has disappeared. I ended up talking to my mom about this because she's like, "Oh, your younger brother, he hasn't really gone out on dates." I'm like, "It's not really like a lot of dates that people really go on at this point." I feel like I'm in my mid-20s and I'm just now really starting to go out on actual dates. And I didn't even grow up on like apps.
Right.
So I think that's a big part of it. It's changed. They realize we just cut out the middleman. I feel like as a side effect of us progressing as a community is we're getting a lot lazier. Like, let me not say that. I feel like everybody should be able to do what they want, but I don't know. I don't want to say sex is easier
It is. I think we're a very instant gratification.
Yeah, okay, that's the best way to. That's how
so
I could not figure out how to say that.
When I'm scrolling on Tinder, when I'm scrolling on Bumble, all I have to do is swipe,
send the eye emoji, and like you could get some.
Exactly.
Which is, but I'm saying if you want to do that. Make sure you strap it up twice if you can. But I do think that does play a role in dating. We're definitely in a popcorn.
Yeah, popcorn microwave. Definitely society.
Microwave society. All right, so what do you have on your profiles?
All right.
So we're going to go through. So I'm going to actually start with Tinder. I have not been on Tinder in such a long time.
Did I delete? Okay, I think I still have my Tinder.
I was going to say, I've re-downloaded us for us to talk about. I didn't realize, I guess I've updated it relatively recently. But I know I've had it for a while. But of course, I have a Finding Nemo quote.
What?
Yeah, I put my height on it. So because I'm like, hey, bruh, short people don't message me. I ain't finna do that. Like, I'm not saying, I wouldn't date somebody shorter, but when it all, I'm like, hey, what I realized is when I've, opened up or, not held my standards, it all plays out the same, so I might as well,
Well, as long as your standards aren't extremely, restrictive.
Even if they are,
standards are...
They're your standards. I just feel like, you feel like...
Is there a difference between standards and preferences? Because when I think of standards, I think of no, I'm not coming over your house the first few times that we hang out.
Well, then maybe it's a preference. Well, preferences, I think that there is some, in not necessarily people have some preferences that are rooted in things like
self-hatred,
sexism, racism, homophobia, all that type of stuff. My height thing is kind of like, I've got played by short niggas too, and I'm not saying taller niggas are better, but I feel like every time that I've lowered my standards or my preferences, okay, I'll just do this. It doesn't end well. So
and you're also a taller girl, so I understand why you would want someone taller.
And then mostly because this is gonna sound weird, but to me, when I've interacted with people who are attracted to me that were shorter than me, they seem to be a little more aggressive and upfront.
Napoleon syndrome.
Yeah,
because they're trying harder to be.
And I would just rather you just be yourself. Don't talk about how you would climb me. No, because now I want to fight, and I feel like I could take you.
No,
I don't support violence.
I had a friend from grad school. She's a little taller than you, and she said she would literally go out. I mean, she said she was pretty flexible with it, but at a certain point, she stopped dating men who were shorter than her because they would say things to her like, "Oh, I bet you should have played basketball."
That's another thing.
Basketball jokes, "Oh, well,"
and then I feel
bet, all these other things, and she was like, "I'm sorry, I don't have you don't have my height. I can't give it to you.
Yeah,
why did you agree to go on this date if it was going to be a problem for you?"
Put out their insecurities on you a little bit, but not just short guys. Tall guys do it too. So, all right, my Tinder profile. So, I talk about the fact that obviously I've updated relatively. I didn't realize I talk about how I'm a stallion. So, and then I have this quote: "I'm not on this time anymore, but I'll mess your life up, but it'll be fun." That's and then I have my height.
I feel like that's inviting toxicity.
I mean, at one point, I wasn't
yeah, but I was.
But this is really old. Mm-hmm. The pictures, I'm kind of old. Do you have different pictures on different apps?
Tinder is definitely more of my. I'm showing a little bit more skin on Tinder because I'm only on Tinder honestly if I want something quick and microwavable.
Yeah, but I really am not.
I'm not on Tinder to actually date. If I'm using it, so I'm
I was gonna say I haven't used it in such a long time. The only time I think. Oh, guys. All right. To backtrack a little bit. We tried to record an episode talking about dating apps, but we got so off topic that we didn't even post it. So I think that's the last time I went on it was a few weeks ago. But other than that, it's been years.
My Tinder profile says the type of girl that you can take home to your mother. It used to say take home to your mother and then have a great smoke session with afterwards. But I was like, I don't want that type of energy.
I was going to say, that's another thing. You can't even say that you want to smoke or too friendly because it just, I don't know.
As soon as
niggas hear that you like weed, they just, they're trying to get you high. And I don't trust it.
So on our first episode, I was like, I'm really in my head sometimes, even when it comes to dating. So I don't mind being smoked out. But now, Netflix and chill and getting smoked out sounds like something that you do with someone you really fuck with, not someone that you meet on Tuesday and you hang out with on Thursday.
Also, because like I don't even know what type of weed you got. Because normally I would run people down. What is this? What is it called? What is this? Where'd you get this one?
All that. And that's probably another thing because I don't do all that. So I would hope I could trust you.
And I was gonna say I don't know. I just bad weed to kill you. Yeah. All right, so
something like okay, I say. You can take me home to your mom, have a nice dinner with, and a lit conversation with afters. Disclaimer, I may ask you some deep-ish. I know we grown, but if Netflix and chill is your only idea of a good time, trust me, I'm not your type. I go crazy for different... I mean, I say it. Now, this last part, I literally say it on pretty much all the apps. I go crazy for different experiences. I'll let you be the judge of which ones those are. Sipping Pains, comedy shows, weekend trips, good restaurants, dope company, conversations that are actually about something, PG, native, Baltimore living, anything else, just ask.
Wow, you put more details into your profile, which is something that I think a lot of people, when they're saying that you are dating, that you should do.
Yes.
I was going to say, on Tinder, the very beginning, I put very little. But all right, so when I think of my...
into it, and less people will swipe on you, less duds and less like ducks will swipe on you when you actually say, hey, this is what I'm actually looking for. And I feel like if I'm going to tell guys, hey, if you want to fuck, why don't you just say that in your profile? I will also tell you, hey, I'm on an app because I actually want to date.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that.
Okay, so what do you feel like, have you gone out with a lot of people from Tinder? Honestly?
I've never been on a date with someone from Tinder.
I don't think
they've all been come through. But that before, that was when I was saying, hey, take me home to your mom and smoke me out. So.
I feel like before I realized, what actually dating is. I think that's another thing. Like, learning what dating
Sliding
is and
through someone's place is not dating, ladies. Don't let no nigga tell you that that's a date. It's not. You can do that with your friends, honestly. Yeah.
All right, so I do remember this one Tinder story. I don't know if you remember, but remember homeboy that's in that certain fraternity that was like, I've known you for years?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so I thought I had met him through Chanel because we had I went out with her and we would stop by their place, and this is my first time I think of meeting them. And then he messaged me later on Instagram. He's like, bro, I've known you for a while. And I was like, that's news to me. I literally that day re-downloaded Tinder. I had to search. It had been, I think this was probably like 2018. So like 4 years ago in 2014, we matched on Tinder and had like 7 messages. I'm like, how do you even remember that?
Carson, maybe we have more similar types than we thought. Because I've actually like hung out with him before. Like that guy you're talking about.
I mean, I hung out with him too.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like maybe we're just in proximity.
I was gonna say we don't. I don't feel like we cross that often, but
when we do,
all right. With that one, I think I told you before. We didn't do. Did you do anything with him?
No,
we didn't do anything either. So it's not like an issue. But I just thought that was crazy that he remembered 7 messages from 4 years ago.
Well, I met him through my other friend that I've known for a long time. We went to his fraternity cookout, and we hung out after that.
Like I said, from my knowledge, I met him through you, and interestingly enough, and I don't know if this is bro code or whatever, I always find it weird that like if I like know you because I met you and I started speaking to your friend, isn't that weird? Like, do guys not have that same code?
I really want to know, like,
what is
why
the
don't
code?
y'all care? Is there a code?
Yeah, because even with my ex, I feel like I've had a few. One of his, I don't know if it's his friend or like his friend's brother that he like, because I know you from my ex, gave me his number, and I'm like, I'm not going to text you. I am not going to be in the group chat because of that.
Well,
and then another friend was a little weird with it too, and I was like, I don't like that.
My brother says that between his friends, they know. So I guess if the guy you were talking to never actually made that clear, then I guess
I wouldn't agree to that, because like I feel like I ran into them at my cornerstone horror story. He and his friend were there, so it's not like you don't know. And I feel like y'all talk about it. I don't know. It's weird because
they don't talk about everything.
I feel like they do. All right, but okay, so let's go on to the next app. Tinder, I think, was the first app, and all apps now basically are set up like Tinder.
Yeah, now they are. Because POF, when I first was on it, I liked it, I didn't have to do anything.
Niggas would just message you. I didn't really like that. It was a weird looking app. But now, like I said, they're all the same. So let's get into POF. How I would describe POF is like an LG Note. It gives off very much Android vibes. And if you have an Android, you know, I feel like you still know what I'm talking about. It's giving off very much, I went to trade school, which is no tea, no shade. I don't mean that in a way, but like, it's like, there's just a different energy or air to it.
It is.
It's more like, I don't want to say they're ready to settle down, but like, it gives me more like they drive a Ford truck and they have an LG Note and they don't smoke because their job drug testing them, but they might like do cigarettes or something. It gives off a little musty to me. I don't really like POF. And I mean, I've actually met some people that weren't bad from there now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, I don't know. POF is not for me. I really like it. The energy, the vibes, the way they message, it was, I don't know, it was weird. I feel like that was my introduction to like older weird niggas. That was the first app that I feel like, but that's another thing.
20 when we started
age wise, you know, you could change your, what do you normally put as your age range for dating apps?
When I was on POF, I was like 18, 19, so I don't think I was going past 25. I don't even know if I set it up on 20, that app. Maybe that's 24. Why. I don't recall setting it up on that.
So that's what I'm saying. I feel like anybody could message.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's when I was like, okay.
Yeah, anyone can message you on POF. But honestly, 19, 20-year-old Chanel, I literally planned my my meal plan around dates. So
yes, that's the reason why
I like I almost had higher standards back there, and I dropped some of them. If you were not feeding me, and I don't mean like we picked up food, if we did not go out to eat to a restaurant, we weren't hanging out.
Well, that's the reason I got the app. She's like, girl, I have not paid for dinner in like a month. Get the app. You going on dates? And you know what happens? I get the app. I go out with a drug dealer. I don't even get food. I wasn't even fed on that. That's how foolish that motherfucking shit was.
Well, yeah. I mean, I hung out with a Navy dude, and we went out to on a date once.
But military men are different.
Yeah, he was different. And I was in Norfolk, so it was a lot of Navy niggas. Like, a lot. But that one was cool. We hooked up a few times. That's when I put his thumb in my butt. And I was like, yo, sir, stop listening to so much shit. I laughed. He was like, you like that? And I was like, huh?
Okay, so yeah, POF for me, LG Note vibes.
It wasn't bad. I got off of it. That's also where I met one of the hood niggas that I thought was actually pretty fascinating, but my daddy was not having it.
Like, who is this nigga?
Okay, what's next? BLK, Black.
All right, so I actually
the worst.
Really? Black wasn't worst. Black was more like, okay, the only reason I like Black is because like Tinder is hella white. And you got to go through so much to find like 3 black guys. And like out of the 3 black guys, you probably may be interested in half of one. So Black, I think I like better because it was like Black Tinder. Now the issue with Black, and I think the same issue with all dating apps, after a while, to me, honestly, that should make my anxiety bad. I get overwhelmed. Normally, all right, let me set it up how dating apps go for me. Get on the app, maybe on it for like 12 days. You get maybe like 4 or 5 numbers off the app. And then you go from there, and then those 4 or 5 numbers dwindle to like maybe 1 or 2 people that you talk to, and then you'll eventually stop. And then in like 4 to 6 weeks,
start all over again.
You do the dance again. You get back on the wheel.
That's really what dating has become.
Yeah, I feel like that's the way to describe dating, which is garbage. But Black wasn't that bad. Let me see what my Black profile is, because I feel like I think I have like the same amount of information.
I literally switched to looking for women to find female friends in my area because Black was so bad.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
What do you have the app up? Let me look at the profile.
I don't even think I refused to re-download it.
It was really that bad?
I hated it. I mean, we're in a different area, but I absolutely hated it.
That is actually very true.
You would think that should be the only app. As a Black woman, Black should be the only app I need. It's trifling. And then the TikTok commercials for that app are
TikTok,
so misleading.
The Instagram promotions.
It's probably the same thing. You got this fine-ass man, like, ladies, if you want to, and all the comments are under it, like, I've tried it, it sucks. You're, like, men that look like you aren't on there.
Yeah, they be paying fine niggas, and they don't really be on the apps. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's all the same. Good morning. Hey, beautiful. How are you? Blah, blah, blah.
I've heard of Black Gentry before, and I think it's supposed to be a little bit more upscale. Like an upscale version of Black.
Okay, actually, let me look at my profile. What do I have on there? I don't feel like I have much. Yeah, literally, I just have my age and a stallion by definition. So that's it. I do tend to have like I may have one or two pictures that are the same, but I try to have different pictures on different apps. But I don't have a lot of good pictures, so that kind of gets hard for me. But yeah, Black
What's the oldest you think that someone should have like a picture from their profile?
I feel like if it's been, I don't feel like you should have anything like after your freshman year that's in high school. Nothing should be from high school after you're like 19 at the max. I don't know. I feel like some of my pictures are a few years old, but I look the same. So I
think 2 years, and that's like being generous. Honestly, I feel like if you're dating, I feel like it should be like a good year and down for your pictures.
Let me look at these Black.
It's 2021. There should be no pictures from 2019.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm not on the app anymore.
I'm
but
just saying.
Damn. Okay, period. I don't go nowhere. I don't take a lot of pictures, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, not even
also
like it's
another
misleading.
thing.
It's just even though you don't think that you look different, you do. You don't look extremely different because you're still young, but like you actually do look different from year to year. And not just like it could be weight wise, it could be face wise, it could be you do your makeup different. I just feel like we should all be a little bit more honest on dating apps.
I mean, I don't know if that's dishonesty, but okay, I get it. I do. All right, I will say this. Your picture shouldn't be like, if you're an older gentleman, you should not have a picture from your prime if you are no longer in your prime. There should be a cap, but I'm not super picky with pictures. Another thing though, guys, I need you guys to learn your angles and to take really good pictures. Because there's been a few times where I've been surprisingly like, oh, you just don't know how to take good pictures. You're cute in real life. And other times I've been like, you are just not a looker. Your mother loves you for your personality. All right, so Black is kind of like Tinder. I mean, so it's not bad, but like it's nothing to rave about. I met some people that were halfway decent. I don't know if this person listens to the podcast, so I don't want to shout them out. But that's where I met. I'll just bleep this part out. All right, shit. I don't think they know who they are, so that's fine.
No, he probably doesn't know that you call him that, but y'all,
stop. We can't go into detail.
He listens to this podcast, but this man's idea of a
Stop.
date. I'm not going to say what it actually is, but y'all, niggas, maybe we need to redefine what a date is.
I think
why don't we?
That
do
is
that?
definitely true.
Why don't we do that before we go into Hinge and Bumble? Because Hinge and Bumble are actually two of the better apps. I like Hinge. Okay, we'll get into that. So, what constitutes a date to you?
Okay,
at 24.
For me, you can have exceptions, but us going and doing either to a restaurant, going to like a show or an outing. Mm-hmm. So unless you're like preparing dinner with like, you have like a menu or something, to me that's not really like me just sliding over. That's not a date. We just get food in the car. That's really not a date. No. But there are women who feel like that. So if you feel like sitting in a car and smoking is a date, there's a woman out there for you. I'm just not her.
There is. And then there are women who are, I don't want to say like this, but they're just coming out of a relationship or just coming off of, I really don't want to date seriously. Like, I really do want this, that, and the third. Like, I'd be okay with that. Just date those women. Same thing, though. I think a date is an outing. But I don't, okay. If the first day that we go out to, it needs to be out somewhere, definitely. The second one, I could take like a walking around date, honestly. As long as the third one is, back up to that standard. The only thing is when you start letting niggas get away with, just come through, like I'll do this, or we can watch this.
One
thing
talk about like, really
when you start
like
that
slippery
letting
slope.
Yeah, like really early, they'll be like, okay, great. I don't ever need to put any more effort into this woman. And I think that's exactly how they think.
I don't know. I will say, I feel like at this point now, I feel like dating is, being asked out on a date. If I ask you on a date, I will pay. Hopefully you won't let me.
On dates.
But like, I feel like that should go. So, but if you ask me out,
don't ask me.
I feel like you should pay.
Money.
Yeah, don't ever do that.
That's
but
so
also,
rude.
like a first date, I feel like a man should pay because like women will spoil men, when she's comfortable.
That's the thing. Women don't have a problem doing it. We won't even say I wasted my money. We won't. We will never say that. Mm-hmm. We may say we wasted our time, which is why if you ask us to go out on a date and you don't want to pay, or you're rude, or it's just not a good situation, you wasted maybe $50-$60. You can make that back. You work, right? Mm-hmm. I can never get back my time.
Oh, spin facts. All right, so let's move on to the next app, Hinge. So this is also another app that was recommended to me by Chanel last year?
Yeah.
Last year. She was like, bump all of the Tinder, bump the POS.
My coworker,
Black. Yeah. Hinge is where it's at. Yeah. There are better guys on Hinge. But what she didn't say is she was paying it like the premium price.
Yeah.
Which...
I don't mind paying for like a dating app if I'm weed out some certain people. I really don't mind doing it because I actually want to date and I want to. I'm a numbers person. I'm a systems person. The better it could be because I'm a delete an app within a month. So during that month, I want to get the most out of it.
Okay, so let's see. Let's go on. You know what we should do for these last two?
What?
Why don't you rate my profile and I rate yours? Or we'll talk about.
I can't rate them as like a man, but I can try.
I'm like, let's look at what yours is versus mine. So I do like that. They give you a little more options to put on your profile with Hinge. When I first downloaded it, I did. Even though you had to pay for it, you could weed out you could put in certain things you wouldn't interact with.
You could put black.
Yeah, just Hinge. Black people. You could put certain heights, certain locations. You could be very specific, which was cool. All right, so let's see. What's your profile look like? Oh, she's dating right now. She's scrolling through somebody's profile.
I mean,
so I feel like I have some selfies, but I've changed it. All
right,
videos.
We'll switch.
Okay. All right. So what do you put on? All right. So with these apps, you can have there's certain talking points. Mm-hmm. So let's see. Yours is you'll know I like you if I want to make plans. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm not a small talk for days person. And never meet up type of person. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, look. She got a podcast plug.
My name is Chanel on the app.
Just say your name is Chanel. Yeah. I also plugged the podcast in it, but I just added something else.
I literally have a picture of the
She's
of
like,
the
you are get this tea.
Because if you're not listening and we talking, I can't talk to you no more. You're
no,
not
honestly, early on the podcast, I was definitely bully these niggas into listening. Mm-hmm. I don't do that now. I feel like our genuine, supportive listeners will listen. And now if I want to talk about you, I don't want to feel bad. So, all right. So she says
most of them only listen to the Freaky Girl series.
No, somebody. Well, recently
most
I went
niggas,
out.
If you tell them that
they looked at the profile, they looked up it, and they listened to the RIP house parties, and they thought it was a really good episode, and they were quoting it when because they had FaceTime me. So I'm like, okay, people do check the profile and listen. So that's cool. All right, so she says she goes crazy for different experiences, good restaurants,
every freaking
sipping paints, weekend trips, comedy shows, dope company and conversations that are actually about something. Oh, she got a little sexy pic. All right, she cares about supporting Black businesses. She got a video and a picture. Okay.
So how about let's not rate. How about we say what type of man we think the profile might attract, or what we're giving in the.
I mean, I feel like it's kind of hard to say what we're giving. Because niggas will fuck a sandwich. I don't know. She said that she likes her niggas the ones that used to run Naruto in middle school.
What I said.
That's the type of guy she be falling with.
No.
But I think her profile's nice.
I guess I like men that actually have a career actually.
But it's really interesting how we have different reactions and stuff on the dating app. So what do you, as looking at this profile, I'm trying to guess. I think that they like your sexy pic. It gets a lot of conversation.
Yeah, but typically, if that's the one that you liked on Hinge, it could be setting a nigga up for a track, but I kind of look at that and I'm like, okay, I know why you're on the app. If that's the picture you chose to like, it's okay. Maybe that is your favorite one.
Have you changed the pictures from when you first got on? Because I know I had different pictures when I first got on. But
I haven't been on Hinge in a while, so I haven't changed that profile in a while. But on Bumble, I had that picture that you're talking about. My titties are definitely out. And I
small
changed.
waist girls. Small waist tings.
And I kept getting, I want to pick type niggas. And in my mind, I'm like, you know what? I like my clothes, especially in a dating profile, should not speak to like, you know, trying to get those type of messages. But you know, unfortunately, men are like very visual. So I had a dude say, well, your profile is kind of giving like with that particular picture, like you had a nice titty pic. So you're speaking to the lust in a man, even a quote unquote good dude, even someone who, I don't know, I guess.
No, your phone locked out on me.
Oh,
it's cool.
Whatever the case may be, like, even someone who you would consider to be a good dude is going to see that and be like, okay, maybe I'll speak on that because that's what she chose to put out there. I know your feelings on that are like, so like, no, because whatever I put on my profile, like, it's my body, I can put whatever I want.
No, not even that. No. I feel like I'm not even saying that.
The only reason why I posted those pictures is because it was for a social experiment. Remember last summer, I was like, let me see the differences.
No, I think that is you are what you attract. But all I'm saying is, even if you just put straight selfies, you will get unsolicited dick pics. Like,
I never had them ever.
When you just have selfies.
Not selfies. But
I'm just talking about like, or guys
before
asking for something sexy or I'm like,
yes.
What I'm saying is, it doesn't really matter. The pictures, they're still out there, or maybe
no, they're still out there. But I had never gotten the amount of send me a pic niggas was overwhelming. Like when I had pictures with my titties out.
You got big boobs.
Like overwhelming versus a picture that's not.
I just don't have a lot of pictures. Or
a picture that's like a selfie or a picture that it is a body pic. Like I'm curvy. Like no matter what, it's going to look. It's going to look like I have big titties, but my titties are literally out like in that picture.
I mean, it's really not that bad. We're sizing it. Your titties aren't like, it's not super like, I don't know. I feel like they're a little bit reaching in the fact that it's like, oh, it's a titty pic and all that stuff. Like the only reason I guess we make a titty pic is because maybe your face is a little covered, but even then it's not that bad. All right, so let's look at
more like for the same reason. Oh yeah, it timed you out. For the same reason that on the first few dates, like I'm not showing like a whole bunch of, I'm not showing a whole bunch of like just anything in general is the same reason why if I want a different response, like if I actually want to go on dates instead of asking niggas or niggas asking me Netflix and chill, you may have to change up the dating profile, and I think that's a hard pill for women to swallow. But like it is what it is.
She's channeling her inner Kevin Samuels.
Oh my gosh. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, for women who like men at a certain point, like, we can't change them. Yes, it would be nice if I could live in a world where I don't have to cover up in order for a man to ask for a date versus a Netflix and chill. But the odds are, if most of my pictures have my ass out, my profile is centered around my ass. So when someone asks me, hey, can I get a pic? Hell yeah, it's rude. It's disrespectful. You shouldn't ask for it at all. But I can understand, like, okay, I guess if I put that out there. Same thing with niggas who post money. You're leading with your money. Don't be surprised when someone say, hey, I actually want to go out. Hey, I know this is your bank account, so no, you cannot take me to Waffle House because I see what else you can do.
Okay, all right.
Okay, let me look through Carson's profile.
So what is on Hinge? You said what normally gets a decent amount of responses from your profile. Then we'll go dissecting into mine.
I don't know. I literally have not looked at this thing in like.
Well, what normally is it like the?
Well, I have a picture of me posting a message that I was sending out to kids during the beginning of the pandemic, and I'm kind of rapping a little bit on it. So sometimes I'll get like a decent amount.
You mean like legit rapping?
No, not legit rapping.
I was about to frame that.
No.
Okay.
Not
okay.
Legit. You've seen the video, but not legit rapping. But sometimes like niggas who are funny, they'll be like, oh my gosh, when you dropping your next bars, like I get more of like those conversations or let me see. Or hey beautiful, or like on a selfie pic or something like that.
Yeah, I mean there's plenty of those.
Yeah. So that's the bulk. But on Hinge, I shoot my shot a lot more. Like, it's pretty 50-50. So, like, half the conversations that are started, I started them. Like, I sent them something. And I usually don't comment on dudes' pictures. I comment on what they say on Hinge.
That depends on the picture. If you're doing something fun or something. But, yeah, I kind of also, I don't know. I feel like I'm more likely to shoot my shot than Chanel here, but
Oh yeah.
here you go.
You are,
This
but
is
but Hinge and Bumble, we'll get into it, gives me the opportunity to do a little bit more. But I'm not a shoot your shot like in person. I believe in showing interest, but I'm not about to chase no.
What is showing interest in?
Showing interest? What, like virtually or in person?
Okay, do both.
Okay, virtually. I guess it would be. You said that you send men like what DMs sometimes on Instagram if you thought something was funny.
I mean, it's not even on if I'm interested.
I think shooting your shot.
I feel like that's another thing. If you post something funny on social media, I might comment on it because that shit make me laugh. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm shooting my shot. But
no. Shooting your shot, I feel like has a second component. Like not only are you reaching out and talking to someone, but you're reaching out and talking to them, stating, "Hey, I would like to get to know you better. I would like to talk to you more." I don't think I've ever done that outside of a dating app.
Okay. I feel like, honestly, Instagram, you're trying to shoot your shot, you like 4 pictures. Be like, all right, I'm liking what I'm seeing. What's up? But
when
that don't really
Instagram
count.
first was lit, two pick like, sliding DMs was next.
I mean, I got on Instagram much later, but all right.
Okay.
So dating apps, I guess, or in real life, how do you shoot your shot?
I've never shot my shot in real life.
You just did.
To who?
The Uber man.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Yeah, I was very proud of you.
Oh, I definitely did. But I didn't come full force. I was kind of like, oh, yeah, can you give me your number so you can tell me what's going on around the city?
I mean, that's still shooting. If a guy did that,
that's basically how I do it. Like, I may start a conversation with the dude based on something. Like, I
really like your podcast.
Yeah, or I may like tell a joke or something. Or I'm in education, so usually like people ask me random questions. So I'm like, okay, well, you seem interested. Let me continue this. Let me put on my wingwoman attitude and I'll continue this. And towards the end, I'll be like, hey, well, can I get your number to talk to you about whatever it was that we were just talking about?
I feel like,
or I may slide in your DMs and ask for a copy of your book.
Yeah. In real life, I don't feel like I've shot my shot super often, but I'm not necessarily afraid to, because normally when I shoot my shot, I'm not saying I think I'm gonna score, but like it's not somebody that I'm like deeply enthralled with. Mm-hmm. Like people like I really think you're cute, or really like, I'm like, oh my god. But on DMs or apps and stuff, I don't know. I feel like at a certain point, I'm like, you know what? I just give my number. Here, do with that what you may. You know what I'm saying? I ain't playing no games. Here's the 10 digits to get to know me. True. What's up?
Okay, am I still dissecting your profile?
You never started, but
because you kept asking questions in between. Okay, so we got mainly selfies. Do you want me to read the goal?
I mean, that's the you don't necessarily. This is the one
that gets the niggas.
I was gonna say they like that, and they also do. I do 2 truths and a lie, and that's some people interact with that.
Yeah, but
I mean, I guess this is more selfies. I kind of updated it because I had a few more body pics before. Honestly, I really don't feel like it was that big of a difference for me. They were all kind of coming with the selfie, the other stuff. It was a little like, all right, I don't know, because it's like some people sometimes will leave a comment, some people won't. I feel like the thing that was really getting like conversations was the text stuff that I had. Okay. I was like, I want to create Black generational wealth, and that's like hot topic words.
It really is.
Or like save the Black community. Oh, the niggas were eating that shit up. They were loving that.
Yeah, so I feel like within dating apps, especially the ones like Hinge and Bumble, where they give you prompts, they kind of give you something to say. Number one, it's sad that we need them. Yeah. It's really, really sad that we need them. But on the other hand, they really do make for a better profile. So if you are going to be on a dating app, like actually fill it out. Yeah. Put some stuff on it.
You'll get better results.
Definitely.
All right, and then like I said, the 2 truths and a lie. I get some answers. Sometimes people get it right. Sometimes they get it wrong. This one person, I was like, can you read? Because he was like, oh, I don't get it. And I was like, all right.
Can you read?
Some of them. But so I feel like for me on Hinge, oh, look, we got a white guy that matched. Yeah, I'm committed to our social experiment. This is the last weekend though. I'm about to delete this app, but I don't know. Hinge kind of got like Tinder and stuff. He had a lot of messages and stuff, and like trying to get to know people. It's like, okay, who am I like taking potential on? Who is it? No, it gets a lot. It gets old. Right. Certain people don't message you. You don't message them. You just matched.
Yeah, and then you really don't know if someone is even on that or so.
Yeah.
At least Tinder will let you know, okay, this person is recent, which means that they logged in that day.
Oh, I don't even know they did that.
Yeah, I did pay for it too, so maybe that's
I was like, I think you get your perks.
Maybe that's why, but for Hinge and for other things, they don't. So, like, if I receive a message, if I like someone in August, because this just happened, if I like someone in August and they just respond to me in March, typically they weren't on it.
Yeah. I mean, but that's also another thing. Sometimes when I re-download apps, it'll be like 5 months. I'll be like, hey, let's try this again. Let's see if you make it this time or make it in this round. But,
which I really honestly don't mind. I
don't really feel like it's that big of a deal. What I think is kind of weird though, is like people that keep it on all the time. So like if I messaged you like 4 months later and you just instantly respond, like, okay, all right, relax. I don't know now.
Wow.
But all right, so let's get into the last dating app of this episode, dissecting another Chanel I don't want to say recommendation
definitely
is Bumble.
Yes. Well,
so
Hinge is a toss up. Bumble is more for older guys. There are not a lot of young guys on Bumble.
I don't know. I feel like I've run across a few. I think I first this is not my first time downloading Bumble, but I think that it's had like a update. Like I said, all the apps are basically Tinder at this point with a little change. But when I first did Bumble, it wasn't as user or like you could just start it. You had to fill out so much information because our friend from our RIP House Parties episode was talking about it. And I'm like, who wants to fill out an SAT short answer for like a dating app? So it's definitely a lot more user friendly. She's like, oh my God, that's where the dates are, blah, blah, blah. And so interestingly enough, recently I ran across somebody that I guess matched on Hinge and Bumble. They're like, oh, I remember your 2 Truths and a Lie story. And I was like, ha ha.
Me as well.
That's another thing. At a certain point, you be running into the same people. Because when I re-downloaded Bumble, I don't know if I said it before, but for the most part, for me, if I know you in real life, I'll swipe right. And it's not necessarily because I'm interested. It's just because, like, bro, I'm going to run into you in real life. Like,
I do not do that. Don't want to give nobody the wrong idea.
I mean, so there was, when I first downloaded Bumble, it was actually kind of funny how there was several people that I tried to leave in 2020 that I had scrolled across. And I was like, yikes. All right, this I don't know, this the app for me.
Well, it's always interesting to me that, as much as we complain about dating in 2021, apparently it's hard for men too. So
I mean, I think it's hard for everybody.
Yeah, so when I see, the same men on different apps, I'm like, dang, I guess we're just
honestly
all here
I
together.
asked, which one do you like better? Is it better? Is it different? Because let me see. Somebody,
well, girl, I'm a dating app ambassador, so I be asking like, how long have you been on them? Is this your first one? How do you like it here?
Yeah, no, I if we matched on more than one, I'm like, which one do you like more? Because I'm kind of impartial to both. But with Bumble, the ladies will message you, or you go through the people who swipe right on you, and you decide if you guys are going to message or mapped, which is cool.
I like it. It keeps it low.
It keeps, there's a lot of people who I don't even like have the time to look at, because like I said, for me, at a certain point, looking at messages, it gets overwhelming. Like, honestly, I feel like what ends up happening is you have like a deck of cards, right? And that's all the potential matches. And then you like shuffle, like take half, and you're like, okay. And then from half, you go to like, you might message 10, and then you get like 5 people's numbers. And if you go back on the app, there's still the people. It gets very overwhelming at a point.
Yeah,
dating drives my anxiety up.
Well, are you on dating apps to actually be in a relationship? Like when you
no, I guess I'm not necessarily looking for a relationship at this point. I'm just trying to get to know people, mature in this dating game.
Right.
Because I feel like for a while, there wasn't really much of it. And we'll get into that in our younger nigga saga episode. Because we're okay. I don't know if you said how we're dissecting it. So we've got our thoughts on the dating apps in general,
which is
our experiences with niggas who are, we're going 5 and plus years older than us, like older men, men around our age,
sweet
younger men.
Niggas.
That's what she calls men around our age, sweet spot. Younger men, and like I said, white men and non-black men.
Right.
So we've got, and then we want to end our series with a good collab with a man and his experiences on dating apps.
Possibly do like more.
Oh yeah, we're still, single ass women, so it's not like the dating series will be ended, but that's our schedule or plan for how we want to handle this.
Yeah.
So
I feel like that may be contributing to why intimacy is so low. Most people, if you ask them why you're on a dating app, it's never to be in a relationship, which is traditionally what dating was for.
Yeah, I think that that's another thing. It's kind of like, well, the difference, I think, between my generation and my grandma's generation, in order for you to go out to social settings, you had to basically be on a date. Women just couldn't, like, you can't just go. You couldn't just go like we can now. So
Is it that we couldn't just go, or that you didn't want to pay for yourself and go?
They couldn't.
Wow.
Ooh, I mean, it was a difference. Like, in order for you to go out and stuff, like, you had to be.
Well, now it's a whole thing. They call it freestyling. Sometimes I be looking, the high value woman and femininity content is real pop right now. If you want to know our thoughts, let us know. But when I listen to some of those women, and I listen to like a bunch of different ones. So I listened to the person that you mentioned earlier,
Kevin Samuels.
No. The woman with the dating.
Shan.
Yeah.
Did I put you on?
Possibly. But I listen to someone like her who is more about like intimacy. I listen to someone who's like Share 7, who's, about, getting the bag. Then I listen to people who actually are like, okay, femininity. And from what I get from that whole conversation, just take care of yourself. And when you take care of yourself, like, you're more likely to attract what you want. That's literally all I get from it.
I think that, like I said, for most people, a broken clock is right twice a day. That there's a lot of truth into what they're saying. I just feel like my issues with some of these things is it's very critical of women, and it's not necessarily as critical with men.
I could give you that. However, I also will say most women don't watch the episodes that are about men. I know I don't. I don't care to know.
No, I'm just.
I get what you're saying, but I'm saying, like, most of the things that are critical of men, we don't watch. I do. Because they don't have anything to do with us.
That shit make me wet. Let me stop. But, okay, so Bumble's been interesting. Okay. I've been on a few Bumble dates. And I realized that, granted, I'm in a better space for dating now, but that's still not it. I still think that, I'm not 100% there. I don't know, maybe it's more of like it's a me thing, not a them. But dating is hard. It's I don't even know if it's interesting. It sucks.
Dating is really hard.
And getting into the whole idea of dating. Also, I feel like you can't even really talk about dating with other guys because they get weird.
They get so weird, and it's like, well, you met me on a dating app, so what
I
did
just
you
feel
think
like guys
I was
are
doing?
super.
If I was
like,
attracted
I'm the
to
only
you,
one.
if I was attracted to you, what makes you think I wasn't attractive to someone else? And the thing is, like, you all keep a roster. I feel like women should date like men date.
Yes, I agree.
You keep a roster. You keep whoever you want until someone says the words, "I want to be exclusive," and don't even just hear the words. Check the actions. Does this person move like they want to be exclusive?
I don't know. Like I said, dating low key be at least my tips of dating be making my nerves bad, but I enjoy
it. I enjoy dating. I feel like I've probably been on more Bumble dates. Maybe a good mix of Bumble and Hinge, because I've been on Hinge longer, so maybe like a pretty good mix.
I feel like I really didn't start even like dating because I was talking to my mom about that. I think I mentioned earlier, like until relatively recently. Like, I feel like my very first date was with the guy we talked about in college days that was like a pathological liar. And that date was interesting in and of itself just because, like, he just would lie about things that just were unnecessary. Like his age, the fact that he could, like, drive in the car. Girl was terrified because he had, like, a fake ID to say he was 19. I was like, who needs that? Like, why would... Why 19? Why not and then he was like, "Oh, you didn't 21? Know?" And I was like, "Cause who would fake that? Why would you give?" Well, then I'm like,
"Well, why?" That was cool.
I'm like, "Why would you give me your fake birth date then? If this is..." But we ain't gonna get on that. Let's see. How else? How do we want to end this dating dissection?
Well, we gotta do our do's and don'ts.
Oh, I definitely forgot.
Our do's and don'ts, and then maybe we'll end out with like kind of
where we see
ourselves.
Oh, look at us twinning.
Where we see ourselves dating in like the future. Like, are we disappearing and coming back better? Like, what do we want? So do's and don'ts. We're gonna start off with women because we love y'all. We love men too, but my heart definitely goes out to women. Carson, if you ask her, she's like, "I just champion women." That's how she sounds.
I don't know why you say like that's a bad thing to champion women, but
she doesn't. She just says it in response to. I forgot what I said, but she was like, "No, bitch, I just champion women." Like she was saying it as if I don't. I was like, "Oh, okay."
Because she likes to play devil's advocate a lot, but we're not gonna get into that. So all right, so our first do's and don'ts with dating apps for women is
make the first move.
I think honestly, you're way more successful. I feel like you're more likely to get what you want if you make the first move. And I feel like also women, we need to do a better job of accepting rejection. I feel like we just don't.
Not wired for it.
Huh?
I don't think we're.
Well, I was getting into that. I
Go
feel
ahead.
like guys, we need to take more shots so that it doesn't sting as much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I think that's like the only issue because it happens. You're not meant for everybody.
Exactly.
But honestly, even men will say that like when women shoot their shots, it's almost like 90% likely it's going in. Straight net.
Because they're so not used to it.
Yeah. So that's our free game.
Yes.
Shoot your shot,
but don't chase.
I was like, yeah, don't beg
make that
nobody.
clear.
And that also goes for men, even though we're not talking about them yet. Don't beg.
No.
Don't like. I
That
hate
just
that.
like it just makes you look so bad. Like to the other person, you're like, oh yeah, okay, you must be desperate.
And then it bigs up their head, and nobody needs that. All right, so what's the next one?
Be cautious, women.
Oh yeah, with dating apps, I've had some dating apps horror stories. I think you've kind of had some bad ones. You know, it's unfortunate this day, but you run the risk of people not being their authentic selves. I'm myself when I go on apps and dating and all that stuff, but not everybody is. So you definitely need to be careful.
I also want to say, men, please stop trying to make women feel comfortable around you within the first 24 hours.
not
You
even.
don't like,
Or
you really
having
don't
that
have to-
expectation of like
Yes.
women are crazy for being cautious.
Exactly.
When the studies show that honestly we need to be more cautious, like extremely cautious.
Us getting in your car the first time we meet up, that's already like
it's a scary
trust.
thing.
That's
Yeah.
already us trusting you.
So definitely women, be make sure you share your location, have somebody abreast of what's going on. We want you just to make sure that you get home safe.
Right. Number 3, be open, but keep a roster.
Well, and when we say be open is to, date different types of people because you'd be surprised on who you actually click with and
Right.
not just your ideal, like, okay, this is my type or this person, just you've got to, in order for you to really figure that out, you've got to date a few different people. So be open to dating
Definitely.
different types and stuff.
Definitely. And when like
Keep a roster as in like, if it's not exclusive, don't give wifely duties to somebody who's not even your boyfriend.
please.
And I feel like that, because that also does a disservice to people who won't do it. So like, you're worth more than
It makes it
just
feel
a
like
late night
that's okay.
text.
Yeah.
You are worth it, girl.
Yes. And also in being open, like when you have a conversation with someone over a dating app, they're putting forth their absolute best, like, foot forward. So when you're being open, that may not even be like the person that you think you're talking to. Like some of us are so hung up on our type that like our type don't even like us. Or our type isn't good for us.
She's pulling my card.
I'm just saying, like,
It's
our
really not.
type is not even good for us. And even with the people lie, well, we'll get into that. We'll get into that for men, so we'll say that. But the first don't for women, do not feel obligated to talk.
Just because he messaged you doesn't mean that it's like, or even if you guys exchange numbers, if the vibe is off, if life happens, like, don't be bullied into talking to somebody. And don't feel like you have to, entertain this person because, they're interested or they said that they were nice or genuine or they approached you in a nice way. You are not obligated to do a damn motherfucking thing.
And nice guys don't have to say it.
Oh, yes.
They don't. They just are. And you maybe you'll even say it to them.
Yeah.
But
Okay, what's the next one?
don't give it all away. Now, what I meant by that
I was going to say, I think that you wrote that.
what I meant by that is that when someone meets you, they do not deserve to have complete access to you, to your traumas, to whatever you experienced in the past. Like, keep it light, girl, especially on a first date.
Yeah.
You don't need to tell this man everything. He don't need to know. And most likely, they don't even fucking care.
I was like, also, especially, I feel like you do not need to have their emotional hangups and you're not in their like significant other.
Not
So
at
don't
all.
let them use you to vent or all that
Not
stuff.
at
If they're
all.
like, nope.
If y'all want to talk about something deep, you can talk about like what's going on in the world. Talk about your dreams and stuff. But you don't need to talk to that. No, you don't need to go in super deep detail. The reason why we continue to watch Netflix is because, you know, the next episode, you know, you kind of go through it. But that's it afterwards. Like, what is the point of someone keep trying to hang out with you if they literally know everything about you?
I mean, yeah. All right, what's the last one?
Do not feel pressured.
Oh, yes. Just because he is paid for a date does
That
not
don't
mean that
mean
you have to have
shit.
sex with him.
He
Just
agreed
because
to do
he
that.
did or he treated you to drinks or he did something or he like there is no, do not feel obligated at all.
And that's something that we have to unlearn. I know I definitely felt
No,
like...
and I definitely feel like when I was younger, it was kind of like, oh, he did this, so you know, like you have to, or you're like he drove and we ended up at his place. Like that does not make it an obligation. That does not make it okay.
Not at all.
And if he can't respect that, that's not the man for you.
Period. Don't feel pressured. Okay. For the men, do's and don'ts. I feel like the don'ts. We're going to start with the don'ts.
Okay, that's
They
fine.
need to hear them. Number one, don't play a personality for pussy.
Oh yeah, don't be perpetrating for pussy. I feel
Please.
like what you want in a woman, there are women out there that like that. I feel like we've run across it, and not just us, where you'll be disingenuous in what you actually want to give the answer that you think we want to hear. We just want you to be honest and understand that just because you're telling the truth does not mean that you're obligated to get what you want.
Exactly. Thank you for being a good human being. I mean, but
I was
what
like,
else?
Like, okay, if you want to have sex and fuck and do all that, that's fine. If I'm not on that type of time, that's also fine. We don't have to do it. I'm not obligated to do it. I don't feel like you should get mad at me for saying I'm not on that time. That's not what I want.
Or like feel, obligated.
You shouldn't be.
after a
I don't
date.
understand why you would want to wear somebody down to have sex. Why does that feel good? Like I don't get how that is something that you're okay with, that feels good to you. Like literally wearing somebody down, bothering them until they're like fine. They feel like they have you putting them in a corner.
Exactly.
That to me is very predatory. It has happened to me in the past, but I'm not for that anymore. Like it's
Y'all should have some self-respect too, honestly.
as Chanel often says, keep dick expensive.
Please.
Not just for and don't feel like you have to have sex with a woman. I definitely feel like a lot of times men aren't given the same liberties in a sense to of not being interested in sex. Mm-hmm. I've seen a lot of people like, oh, what do you mean he don't want to have sex? Like, I'm going to do it. And I'm like, hey, both sides.
That's his body as well.
Yeah. So
we should stop being so open, just letting anyone enter you or you enter anybody.
Yes.
It's not a small thing.
I was going to say, it's just relax.
It's never, and it's rarely.
And if you, but
just
like I
sex.
said, if you want to just have sex, as long as you get a willing participant that's also on that type of time and you both are very clear.
Verbal yes,
non-verbal, all of the yeses. It has to be extremely clear. Do your thing. Let your freak flag fly. But don't try to change somebody to get some pussy.
and if you are on an app, put that in your bio.
Yeah.
Honestly, let's just put it out there and see what you get.
And don't be mad if you're not getting the type of response that you want.
Exactly.
Just keep shooting. You know what I'm saying? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Just keep shooting the shots. I mean, it's a dating app. Right. Or even in person on Instagram and all that stuff. They're out there. They are. There are women who are fine with Netflix and chills as being the only thing they do. There's women are fine with sitting in a car and smoking. Mm-hmm. They are out there. They're fine. They're plentiful. And they will love you to pieces. I'm not that person. That's not me. I don't know her. You know what I'm saying? But do find the person that you should fuck who you like and who you want to fuck. Stop trying to change people. Like if you like stripper bitches, fuck stripper bitches. Don't date or be around somebody because they look good or a status, even though you're not interested in them and you're going to cheat with the person that you actually want.
And
cut out the middleman. It'll make you more happy.
They trip over themselves doing that. Like, know, for optics and for attractive, for looks, for who you want to bring around your boys or your mom or whoever, you're going for a particular type of girl, but that girl isn't who you actually want. You like the idea of her. You don't like her.
Go with who you like.
Because you're just going to end up cheating anyway. Just going to be unhappy anyway. So
just save yourself. All right, what's the next one?
Don't treat all women the same. I think you had more to say on this one.
in the sense of like, you've got to realize that you can't like give everybody the same line, pickup lines, nicknames. I'm just not a pet name person. Like, understand that women are different. And this kind of goes back to, okay, wanting just hooking up and sex. It's like, if that's all you want, that's fine. But like, don't just assume all women are like one way or the other. Mm-hmm. We're all different. I feel like men kind of just, I'm saying if you cast your net, but like, understand there are several different type of fish.
I literally had a man tell me, we treat all women. He said we, so I guess he was trying to speak for the whole, male species. But he said we treat all women like hoes to figure out what type of woman you are. And when he said that, I was like, oh, okay, duly noted. Because he kept trying to get me to come over, and he like was insistent like on it. Like, you want to come over? I'm like, no, because I'm trying this whole thing where I have standards and I stick to them. So no, I can't come over. Yeah. It's not in me. I'm not doing that.
Period.
I don't know you.
Amen.
And nothing's about to happen, so I'm good.
And then they get mad. All right, what's the last one? I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh, no. And he was like, okay. And after he realized that for the third time I wasn't coming over, it's like almost like a sigh of relief came over him. Like, he was like almost happy that I had standards. And that's the one who apologized to me like weeks later. But it was as if he was saying, okay, you're not one of those women.
That's another thing. I hate when men pin women against each other. And the
it was literally like
women kind of play into that. Like, I'm not one of those people. I don't ever want to hear you bash another woman around me, because I don't know your role that you played and why she acted like that and all that stuff. I don't like that. I don't get that
at all
to me at all. So I'm don't do that.
Not
with
about
me.
Shit talking exes or shit talking who.
I was gonna say I hate that, especially when somebody you were licking their ass. Relax, like I don't want to hear it. You a big pop each other's assholes. Like, no, sir.
So,
all right, what's the last one?
So they do their little quality calculations. But just before we move on, do you think that women do that too? Quality calculations?
What do you mean?
When we figure out, okay, this type of guy you are versus this guy. I don't
feel like we do it the same.
I don't think that we pin other men.
I think we date men off of potential.
Yes.
And we like, okay, he could potentially do this. And if I could potentially help him, like, I feel like there's this narrative that pussy will solve all a man's problems and we could fuck him better, or we can make him a better person with higher, wet, juicy, head. Or if we're more sexual, if we're more covered up, we can change a man into being something. And odds are the only thing that would change a man is the one that be changed. Yeah. Like, no matter how you do it. And another thing is, he could change and it might not be the change with you. So you can do all the right things, and until he's ready to change, he won't. Yeah,
I'm a firm believer that men actually do need to fix their own problems themselves.
I think that being single is extremely important. I can't, honestly, don't trust somebody that can't be comfortable around themselves. If you're always in a relationship, I'm giving you a side. I feel like you don't really know yourself. Your single season is extremely important. Everybody should take it seriously. You need to love you first before you get in anything with anybody else. Because I think a lot of times, especially last tangent, I'm getting off of dating, men project a lot of their insecurities on women. Mm-hmm. And I don't like that. All right, last one.
Don't just be putting anything on your profile. Why do you have all these group pictures? I can't even tell which one you are. And if you're not the cuter one, you don't even tag
and then also
the cute one.
Stop player hating. Let me know who the fine friend is. But also, like we said, invest and put time into your profile. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like when people do the bare minimum, I'm least likely to interact with them. Be like, oh, just ask me. I'm like,
no.
That's the whole point. The app is supposed to get rid of like at least some questions. I'm not gonna lie. I'm tired of telling people my favorite color and shit like that.
No one ever asked me that. What type of people you talk to?
It was like
I think someone asked me as a joke. He was like, "Don't ask me anything basic." He said, "I'm not going to ask you anything basic like what your favorite color is."
I mean, I think you do, have to have a conversation to get to know people. I mean, but I'm saying in particular, I'm tired. All right, let's talk about the things that we want you guys to do on dating apps.
Be yourself.
Yes, and like you'll get to the person that you want when you're yourself. Seriously. You'll be more successful. I feel like you'll have a better situation. Be yourself. And understand it might take time. Mm-hmm. I feel like we're, like I said, in the microwave, popcorn, instant gratification, but like real good people for you, or like real matches and all this stuff, I believe they're out there. And it might take time. Be yourself, man. Be yourself.
I was listening to something and it was talking about the differences that the different stages that people go through in dating. So when you first date in high school, it's usually like, I like you, you like me, let's be boyfriend and girlfriend. Because in high school, okay, because in high school, that's like real high stakes. Something like for a girl to have a boyfriend or have a date to prom, that's like high stakes. And even for boys in high school, oh yeah, that's my girl. But somewhere we have a switch in college because there's so many more people that you're being exposed to, and we start to get that instant gratification and that hookup culture. Yeah, comes into play. So I just thought that was interesting. Some of us, we're still trying to date as if we're in high school. It doesn't work like that anymore. It's not I like you, you like me. We're boyfriend and girlfriend now.
You gotta, get to know people, and there's nothing wrong with dating.
Yeah, it's a practice. It's a whole thing. It's a process.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the moment you stop looking for the one and every single person you swipe on, you'll enjoy dating so much more. It'll be so much lighter.
And then I think that just because you don't work out does not mean it's like a loss or a bad thing. You can learn a lot from people. You get exposed. I think we should be a little more open to people and like not looking at it as like either like the whole idea either we're gonna get married or we're gonna break up. Like there's a lot of other things that go. Like we can make new experiences. You get introduced to new ideas, new places, new things. Like I think we should look at dating more positively.
Definitely. Number 2, do plan to date. If you are broke, get the fuck off a dating app. Please.
Or just say, I'm just here to fuck and I want to hook up. I'm not trying to go out.
Yes. Don't make women feel bad for having standards.
Yeah.
About wanting to go out.
Do pay for the first date.
Pay for all the dates.
I mean, that's a real spill.
Plan to pay for all the dates. Honestly, by date number 4, if we've been pretty steady and you pay for all of them, I would pay. I would not have a problem with it.
I don't have a problem paying for dates. Like I said, I feel like if I'm like, we have a first date, you pay, I ask you out on a date, or I'm like, okay, this is me putting forth the effort. I feel like it would make sense for me to pay. I'm not expecting you to pay. But yeah, don't ask nobody to go Dutch on a first date.
That is so unattractive. That tells me that we're friends. So if I text someone else in front of your face while we're on this app, don't look at me wild. Don't look at me crazy. We're friends. And if I was hanging out with Carson, we were getting drinks, I would text someone else. So
I was like, what are you trying to text people to pay for the drink?
That's what I'm saying. Like, we're friends. So no. I mean, and when I say like on the 4th day, I just mean like some type of consistency. Like you've been paying. Honestly, or you've been putting in effort.
Sometimes you have to be the 4th date. Like women like to spoil men. Don't think that women are cheap. Like women who really like
women
you
are not cheap, and women make money.
Women who fuck with you, they will spoil you
in different ways as well.
Yeah.
But I need the consistency. I think I have on my Bumble profile, effort and consistency are sexy as fuck. So if you don't have them, don't expect me to reciprocate much.
Okay, so what's the last one?
Be upfront about what you want.
Yeah, we've touched on that. Just be honest. You'll get what you want. You'll save everybody time, energy, like frustration.
I don't know where the narrative came where like where women can't take honesty. Y'all niggas can't take honesty.
Yeah, like I said, niggas have it snowed that we're the emotional creature. Have you ever been around like a man who's like upset or mad? Or like
you're such a big baby.
That too. And then like when you're having an argument with a man or like discussion, they don't use facts as the reasoning. They use feelings. Like, I feel like, well, that's, my experience. I'm like, okay, I'm talking facts, baby. Pull it up. But that is our dating app dissertation. I mean, we should call it that. Dating app dissertation. I
think that's pretty good.
Yes.
Yeah, dating app dissertation.
So, yeah, because this is probably our longest episode yet.
Oh, yeah, girl, we're going to have to close this out. So, what are you looking forward to in dating? Let's just say for either the rest of 2021 or just, I guess, the next dating season.
I feel like, I'm about to chuck out. Or we got, like I said, we're going on vacation. I'm about to be in grind mode. I ain't really trying to go on dates. I'm trying to lose some weight. I got to be in the gym, eating clean and all that stuff. But this upcoming week, I am going to go out on our experimental date so that we can come to you with real life cases, a real case study. But yeah, I'm taking a break from dating apps, honestly, and social media. I feel like, granted, this has been a more positive experience, at least this time around, but I'm older. I'm not dealing with this much. I'm not about to go back and forth. I'm not thirsty for dates. I'm not, begging.
Buy your own food. I don't know why niggas think that, I'm not paying for no grown-ass person's meal. then don't.
I was gonna say we're just not. I'm not the person for you, and that's
Exactly.
fine. But it's not bad. It's still a lot of room to grow, and we'll get into our experience with these different groups. But it's not horrible. But I'm taking a break now. I mean, ideally, like I said, my situation would be to be actively dating and enjoying that process. I'm not looking to settle down, but I am looking to meet new people and go out on dates. I feel like that's cool, getting to know somebody and making connections.